Assalamu alaikum and welcome again. Balancing charge. If sale proceed is greater than balance brought forward, this is said to be balancing charge. It is also known as a negative capital allowance, and the treatment of this is it will reduce the capital allowance. Now question is, what is the treatment of balancing charge or negative capital allowance when there is no capital allowance? If there is no capital allowance for this particular year, then what will be the treatment of negative capital allowance? In that case, it will increase the taxable profit. It will increase the taxable profit. You know that कि capital allowance आपके पास आपके profit को reduce करता है. तो अगर आपके पास negative capital allowance है और कोई भी capital allowance के against वो set off नहीं हो सकता, तो it will increase the taxable profit. So test your understanding 4 in this regard. Ganwu has traded for many years as an ice cream manufacturer. He prepares accounts to 30th June, and during the year ended 30th June 2023, he made the following transaction. On 14 July 2022, he sold some machinery for 12,100, which originally cost 26,000. So whichever is less के मुताबिक we will reduce it by 12,100. We will reduce the main pool by 12,100. On 30th August 2022, purchase a new zero emission car for 14,000. Remember, if you are purchasing zero emission car, new car which has a zero CO2 emission, then it qualifies for first year allowance. And on 16 March 23, he purchased some equipment for 23,500. The total return on value at 1st July 2022 was 11,000. So now you have to calculate the Ganwu's capital allowance for the year ended 30th June 23. And in the second part, they are asking us that explain why would have happened had Ganwu made no addition in the year. So according to the question, first we have to write the total written down value at 1st July 2022, and that was 11,000. Total written down value at 1st July 2022, and that is 11,000. Then according to the first requirement, we have to consider that in this particular year, we have purchased a car for 14,000, which qualify for first year allowance. New car, CO2 emission 0. Car price is given to you as 14,000. As this is a new car with zero CO2 emission, it qualifies for the first year allowance. So nothing to be recorded here in main pool, and capital allowance of 14,000 would be recorded. Then we have purchased an equipment for 23,500. So plant and machinery for 23,500, and this amount qualify for annual investment allowance. Remember that the limit for annual investment allowance is 10 lakh. So nothing will be recorded again in the main pool, and the whole amount is recorded as capital allowance. Now you have to treat this disposal. And what is the rule about the disposal, recording the disposal? Rule is sale proceed or original cost, whichever is less. So here the sale proceed is less, that is 12,100. So we are recording here 12,100 as reduction from main pool. अब आप ये देखें कि आपके पास मेन पूल में 11,000 की आइटम है, टोटल रिटर्न ऑन वैल्यू or disposal proceed is 12,100, so it will result in a negative allowance of 1100, right? So for this 1100 you have been provided balancing charge, and this 1100 will be deducted from the total of the capital allowance. Total capital allowance is 37,500. By the reduction of 1100, it will be 36,400. So that is the treatment of a negative capital allowance or balancing charge. It will reduce the capital allowance, right? And nothing to be recorded as total return on value at the end of the year. So in the next part they have mentioned that explain what would have happened had Ganwu made no addition in the year. If there is no addition in the year, means neither you have purchased a car nor you have purchased any plant and machinery. In that case, what would be the treatment? So in that case we need to consider that this is main pool and this is capital allowance. Total written down value at 1st July 22 is same 11,000, and the new car has not been purchased here nor the plant and machinery, so only disposal is made. So this disposal will create a negative capital allowance. Now there is no capital allowance available with us to set off this 1100 of negative capital allowance. तो इस सिलसिले में फिर क्या करेंगे? Whatever is the profit by the amount of 1100, tax adjusted profit will be increased. We will add this amount into taxable profit. So 1100 would be added to the taxable profit. Now the next term, that is balancing allowance. It is said to be excess of pool balance over the sale proceed in the final period. Remember that balancing allowance is available only in the final period. अगर आपके पास पूल बैलेंस ज़्यादा है, सेल प्रोसीड कम है, तो कुछ ना कुछ अमाउंट आपके पास रिमेनिंग रह जाएगी. दैट इज सेड टू बी योर बैलेंसिंग अलाउंस. बिजनेस कैन क्लेम रिलीफ फॉर दैट. Where unrelieved expenditures are 1,000 or less, the balance can be claimed as allowance and leaving relevant pool with a nil balance. तो अगर आपके पास 1,000 से कम ये वैल्यू आए तो ये सारी की सारी अलाउंस के तौर पे क्लेम कर ली जाती है और आपके पास पूल में फिर nil balance रह जाता है. Test understanding 5. Jin has previously prepared accounts to 31st March. He decided to cease to trade on 31st December 23. After a period of ill health. The following transactions have recently taken place. On 21st February 2023, plant sold for 320. Originally it was purchased for 2000, so we have to deduct the value 320. And on 10th September 23, the plant is purchased for 4000. On the completion of sale of his business, she received 5400 for his plant and machinery. Means she has disposed of this plant and machinery and received 5400 for that. But remember that we have to compare the sale proceed against the original cost, and whichever is less is subtracted from the main pool. In the next line they are saying that no item was sold for more than its original cost. Means sale proceed is less than original cost. So that is why we will take the figure of 5400 to be subtracted from the main pool balance. The total return on value on 1st April 2022 was 9,000. So first we have to record the total written down value on 1st April 2022, and that is 9,000, right? And after that what we have to do? We have to consider whether from 1st April 22 to 31st March 23, we have purchased some asset or not? From this period, from 1st April 22 to 31st March 23, there is only one transaction, which is sale of plant that has original cost of 2000. So we have to deduct this sale proceed. So we have to compare 320 with 2000 because purchase price 2000 or 320 sale proceed. So whichever is less, 320 would be deducted from here, and the remaining value would be 8680. On this, we have to calculate written down allowance, because remember that this is not the final period. Only in the final period हमें written down allowance provide नहीं करना होता, फर्स्ट ईयर अलाउंस या एनुअल इन्वेस्टमेंट अलाउंस प्रोवाइड नहीं करना होता. आपके पास, हम अभी किस पीरियड की बात कर रहे हैं, ये 1 अप्रैल 22 से 31 मार्च 23 की बात है. सो यहाँ पे आपके पास रिटर्न डाउन अलाउंस प्रोवाइड किया जाएगा. And this will be $1562. So remaining value would be 7118. So this will be recorded as a total return down value at 31st March 23. So same will be the value on 1st April 2023. So in 2023, from 1st April 23 to 31st December 23, कोई भी अगर हमने एसेट परचेज किया है तो वो एनुअल इन्वेस्टमेंट अलाउंस वगैरह के लिए क्वालिफाई नहीं करेगा, बिकॉज दिस इज़ द फाइनल पीरियड ऑफ ट्रेड. सो 4000 का जो एसेट हमने परचेज किया है, दिस विल बी रिकॉर्डेड इन द मेन पूल. एंड सो आपके पास टोटल अमाउंट आ गई 11,118, राइट. एंड फ्रॉम दिस वी हैव टू deduct as disposal proceed, and that is 5400. So 5400 would be deducted from here. Remaining figure is 5718. As this is the final period of trade, so as per rule, the whole amount is allowed as allowance. This is said to be balancing allowance. 5718, the whole amount will be allowed as capital allowance. So balancing charge आपके capital allowance को reduce कर देता है, और balancing allowance इससे opposite situation है. लेकिन बैलेंसिंग अलाउंस उसी सूरत में प्रोवाइड किया जाता है कि व्हेन देयर इज अ फाइनल ईयर ऑफ ट्रेड. नाउ सम बेसिक पॉइंट अबाउट कार. इफ द कार इज न्यू एंड इट्स CO2 emission is 0, then it qualify for 100% first year allowance. If the car is new but the CO2 emission is between 1 to 50 gram per kilometer, it should be included in the main pool. While in case of old car with a CO2 emission 0 to 50, it will also be included in the main pool. And last, new or old car with a CO2 emission above 50 gram per kilometer will be recorded in the special rate pool. So for this, you have to do illustration 6, which is on PDF page number 322. Also test your understanding 6, which is on PDF page number 323. Now about the assets with private use by the owner. If the owner use these assets for private purpose, remember that in that case only business proportion attract capital allowance, right? MCQs में कंफ्यूज किया जा सकता है कि द एसेट वाज प्राइवेटली यूज बाय द एम्प्लॉय. सो एम्प्लॉय का प्राइवेट यूज़ करने का कोई इम्पैक्ट नहीं है. इट इज़ द ओनर्स प्राइवेट यूज़ विच हैज़ इम्पैक्ट दैट यू हैव टू कंसिडर ओनली द बिजनेस प्रपोर्शन and this business proportion attract the capital allowance. So next illustration is Gleb runs a business and prepare his account to 5th April. As at 6th April 22, the total written down value in the main pool was 11,700. So this is the opening total written down value. The following transaction took place in the year ended 5th April 23. Plant purchase for 18,500. Purchase a car with CO2 emission of 45 grams per kilometer for 19,000. So as we have purchased a new car, but this has a CO2 emission between 1 to 50, so it will be recorded in the main pool. Sold some machinery for 8,500. Originally it had a cost of 18,000. So disposal proceed would be deducted from the main pool, and this has a value of 8,500. Purchase a car with a CO2 emission of 43 gram per kilometer for 9,400. But this car is used 45% for private purpose by Gleb. So it is the owner who is using for the private purpose. So we need to consider this point. So this is said to be the main pool. Private use asset. Business proportion or percentage, and this is capital allowance. So first we have to record the opening total written down value that was given to you as 11,700. Total written down value, and the date was 6 April 2022. 11,700. Then we have purchased a plant for 18,500, right? 18,500 of this plant is qualified for the annual investment allowance. Nothing will be recorded in the main pool, and whole amount is recorded as capital allowance. Second, we have purchased a car with a CO2 emission of 45 grams for 19,000. As it is new car with a CO2 emission between 1 to 50 grams, so that is why it will be recorded in the main pool. Next, sold some machinery for 8,500. Originally it was purchased for 18,000, so whichever is less would be reduced from main pool. And then purchase a car with a CO2 emission of 43 grams. The car's CO2 emission is between 1 to 50, but it was used 45% for private purpose. So first it will be recorded in the private use asset column. So it will be recorded here 9,400. So now we need to calculate 11,700 plus 19,000. This will be 30,700, and when we subtracted 8,500 from this, we will get 22,200. And 9,400. On this balance, we have to record the written down allowance. So first return on allowance on 22,200, 18%. This will be 3,996. And this 3,996 will be recorded in the capital allowance column, right? Then we have to calculate return on allowance on the private use asset, and same at the rate of 18%. So this will be 1692. This 1692 will be deducted from the 9400 and it will give you a value of 7708. Well, in this case, this will be the value of 18,204. But when recording the capital allowance, we need to consider the business proportion. If the asset is 45% used by the private purpose by the owner, then 55% of this asset is used for business purpose. So we have to record 55% of 1692 as our capital allowance, right? These are said to be the total written down value at the end of the year, it means 5th April 23. So this is the total of capital allowance, 18,500 plus 3,996. This is total 23,427. Now you have to do test your understanding 7 on PDF page number 324. So next point is special rate pool. For special rate pool expenditures, return on allowance rate is 6%. If an expenditure qualify for to be considered as special rate pool expenditure, तो तब उस पर रिटर्न ऑन अलाउंस 6% के रेट पे कैलकुलेट किया जाता है. कौन से ऐसे एसेट हैं कि जिन पे एक्सपेंडिचर आपका स्पेशल रेट पूल एक्सपेंडिचर कंसिडर किया जाता है? दीज आर सेड टू बी लॉन्ग लाइफ एसेट, मीन्स प्लांट एंड मशीनरी जिनकी कॉस्ट एटलीस्ट 1 लाख और लाइफ 25 ईयर्स हो. सेकेंड है हाई एमिशन कार्स, यानी जिनकी CO2 एमिशन मोर देन और यू कैन से अबव 50 ग्राम पर किलोमीटर हो, वो आपके पास स्पेशल रेट पूल में आती हैं. इंटीग्रल फीचर्स लाइक इलेक्ट्रिकल एंड लाइटिंग सिस्टम, कोल्ड वाटर सिस्टम, स्पेस और वाटर हीटिंग सिस्टम, पावर्ड सिस्टम ऑफ वेंटिलेशन, कूलिंग और एयर प्योरिफिकेशन, लिफ्ट और एस्केलेटर्स, ये सब भी आपके पास इंटीग्रल फीचर के तौर पे स्पेशल रेट पूल के एक्सपेंडिचर कंसिडर किए जाते हैं. एंड लास्ट वन इज थर्मल इंसुलेशन. नाउ एन इम्पॉर्टेंट पॉइंट, if you have to provide annual investment allowance, the order of allocation of annual investment allowance is this. First, you have to provide or allocate annual investment allowance on items that are mentioned in special rate pool. The second number, main pool. Third, short life asset, which we have to consider. And fourth, private use asset. So this is the sequence of providing annual investment allowance, or you can say allocation of annual investment allowance. Next, illustration number 8. Apple runs a manufacturing and prepare her account to 31st December each year. As at 1st January 23, the tax return on value was 43,000 in the main pool. In the year ended 31st December 23, Apple incurred the following expenditure. Spent 10,08,000 on a new air conditioning system. So it is a cooling system, so ये qualify करता है to be recorded in the special rate pool expenditure, and also it has a life of more than 30 years, so it qualify for the special rate pool. Purchase a new computer and related software for 25,000 main pool and 5,000 main pool. Spent 1,15,000 on new packing machine. Apple also incurred 4,000 on alteration of factory in order to accommodate the new machine. So total cost that will be recorded is 1,19,000. 1,15,000 packing machines cost and 4,000 alteration. Purchase a new car with a CO2 emission of 95 gram per kilometer. So as the CO2 emission is greater than 50 gram, so it will also be recorded in the special rate pool. In addition, she sold machinery for 10,000. Original cost is 60,000. So whichever is less, we will consider 10,000. So calculate the capital allowance available to Apple for the year ended 31st December 23. So first we have to record the total return on value on 1st January 23. And that is 43,000. Then spent 10,08,000 on a new air conditioning system. As this amount qualify for the special rate pool and as per order of allocation of annual investment allowance, we have to allocate annual investment allowance first to special rate pool item. So on air conditioning system that has a cost of 10,08,000, annual investment allowance of 10 lakh is provided, allocated, and remaining 8,000 will be recorded in the special rate pool because this item qualify to be a expenditure of special rate. 10 lakh will be recorded here as capital allowance. Then purchase a new computer and related software for 30,000 and packing machine for 1,19,000. So both qualify for plant and machinery. So these will be recorded in the main pool. Then we have purchased a motor car, new motor car with a CO2 emission of 95 grams. So it will be recorded on the special rate pool. The cost of car is 28,000. In addition, she sold machinery for 10,000. So these 10,000 disposal would be subtracted from the main pool. So the main pool total would be 182,000 and this will be 36,000. So on this 1,82,000, return on allowance of 18% will be calculated and this will be 32,760. So remaining value of 1,49,240 will be recorded here. While return on allowance on special rate pool item is calculated at the rate of 6%. So this will be 2160. remaining value would be 33,840. These allowances are mentioned here in the capital allowance column, and this is said to be the total written down value at the end of the year. Total of capital allowance would be 10,34,920. Small pool WDA, where the balance both in the main pool and special rate pool before calculation of written down allowance is up to 1000, the balance can be claimed as written down allowance. यानी अगर आपके पास मेन पूल या स्पेशल रेट पूल दोनों में आपके पास बिफोर द कैलकुलेशन ऑफ रिटर्न ऑन अलाउंस बैलेंस 1000 या उससे कम है, तो ये बैलेंस आपके पास WDA कंप्लीट ये बैलेंस WDA के तौर पे क्लेम किया जा सकता है. Another example, even test your understanding 8, that is Angelina is in business as a sole trader and prepare accounts through 31st May each year. During 31st May 2023, she purchased the following: purchase a new office furniture for 8,98,800, purchase a car with a CO2 emission of 114 grams. So if it is 114 grams means greater than 50 grams, and if it is greater than 50 grams, we have to record this in the special rate pool item column. Install a new water heating system in her business premises at a cost of 40,000 and a new lighting system at a cost of 70,000. Remember, water heating system, lighting system are said to be special rate pool expenditures. So they will be recorded on the special rate pool or annual investment allowances provided on this in priority. In addition, on 1st July 2022, she sold office equipment for 18,700. Original cost was 28,000. At 1st June 2022, the total written down value on her main pool was 10,800 and on special rate pool it is 16,600. Calculate Angelina's capital allowance for the year ended 31st May 23. सो इस क्वेश्चन में काफ़ी से पॉइंट डिस्कस हुए हैं. इसमें हमारे पास मेन पूल बनेगा, स्पेशल रेट पूल आएगा, प्राइवेट यूज़ एसेट आएगा और उसका बिजनेस प्रपोर्शन एंड देन कैपिटल अलाउंस. सो ऑल दीज कॉलम्स आर नेसेसरी अकॉर्डिंग टू द इंफॉर्मेशन. सो फर्स्ट वी हैव टू रिकॉर्ड द ओपनिंग बैलेंस ऑफ टोटल रिटर्न ऑन वैल्यू on 1st June 22. This was 10,800 for main pool and 16,600 for special rate pool. Then, as there is a rule that first we have to apply the annual investment allowance on plant and machinery which qualify for special rate pool. So ये आपके पास 70,000 और 40,000 1,10,000 की आइटम आ रही हैं जो कि क्वालिफाई करती हैं टू बी रिकॉर्डेड इन स्पेशल रेट पूल. तो एनुअल इन्वेस्टमेंट अलाउंस 1,10,000 का इस पर अप्लाई किया जाएगा. Then first of all we have purchased a new office furniture qualified to be recorded as plant and machinery. Again 8,98,800. But here we need to apply the annual investment allowance, remaining annual investment allowance. Out of 10 lakh of annual investment allowance, 1,10,000 has already been allocated to the special rate pool item. Remaining 8,90,000 of your annual investment allowance. Remember 10 lakh allowance है, उसमें से 1,10,000 लेस कर दें तो 8,90,000 का allowance रह जाता है. That would be provided for this plant and machinery. Remaining value of 8,800 would be recorded in main pool and 8,90,000 will be recorded in capital allowance column. Further, a car has been purchased for 12,600, but this car has been 20% used for the private purpose, so it will be recorded in the private use asset. New car CO2 emission 114, but privately used, so that is why it is recorded here in the private use column. As this particular car qualified to be recorded as special rate pool, but we are not recording it in special rate pool, reason being this has been privately used. Later on, when we have to calculate the return on allowance, we will calculate return on allowance in accordance with 6%, which is applicable for special rate pool items. Then we have been given 18,700 of equipment that has been sold. And that's it. All the items have been considered. So now you need to consider what is the total amount. This is 10,800 plus 8,800. This will give you 19,600. Remaining balance would be 900. In case of special rate pool, this is 16,600. 12,600 for private use asset. So first, balancing allowance is provided for this 900, because as per rule, if your balance is up to 1000, it can be claimed as capital allowance. So this will be recorded here. Then on return on allowance on 16,600 at the rate of 6%, because special rate pool item qualify for return on allowance at the rate of 6%. So this is 996. And return down allowance on private use asset, which is 12,600. Again the rate is 6%. $756. Now we will record the closing value nil, 15,604, and this will be 12,600 minus 11,844, I think so. But as this is a private use item and business proportion is 80%, so we have to record the allowance 80%. This will be 605. Total allowance will be 10 lakh, 10 lakh, 1,505. This is 10 lakh, 1,505. Now short life asset, asset with the expected life of less than 8 years, asset with expected life of less than 8 years, recorded in separate column. On sale within 8 years, the separate balancing allowance or charge will arise. What if asset is not sold within 8 years? मतलब हमने एक asset select कर लिया कि this is said to be short life asset, हमने इन्हें 8 साल के अंदर बेच देना है. जब भी हम इसे सेल करेंगे within 8 years, we have to calculate the balancing allowance or charge separately on this particular short life asset. But अगर एक asset जिसे हमने consider किया था कि this is the short life asset and later on this has not been sold within 8 years, then what we have to do? Then you have to transfer the balance to main pool, right? Then you have to transfer the balance to main pool. So this is the question for short life asset. This is illustration. Gina has traded for many years, preparing account to 31st December each year. The total return on value on the main pool was 15,000 on 1st January 23. In May 23, she acquired a new machine costing 10,000. She anticipated that the machine would last for 2 years, and she eventually sold it on 30th June 25 for 1750. In August 23, she acquired a plant and machinery for 10,02,000. Calculate the allowance available for 3 years to 31st December 25, illustrating whether or not an election to treat the new machine as a short life asset would be beneficial. So here, because we have to prove that election of short life asset is beneficial, we have to calculate first without considering that asset as a short life asset, and then we will consider if we consider that asset as a short life asset, what will the treatment and how the capital allowance would be different. So first we have to record the opening balance, which is 15,000. And the date is 1st January 23. Then she acquired a machine costing 10,000, which is considered to be a short life asset, but in the first instance we have to consider it in the main pool. So the total asset which qualify to be recorded are 10,000 plus 10 lakh 2,000, total 10 lakh 12,000. As we know that annual investment allowance is limited up to 10 lakh for a 12-month period. So 10 lakh would be provided as a capital allowance and 12,000 is recorded in main pool, right? And there is nothing like that we have sold that asset in this first year. So from 1st January 23, the total value is 27,000, and in this 27,000 we have to calculate the return on allowance at the rate of 18%. And that is 4860. Remaining balance would be recorded as 22,140 on this is total return down value on 31st December 23, and the total of allowance would be 10 lakh 4,860 in the first year, right? Now in the second year, on 1st January 24, the return down value is 22,140. Total return down value is this, and on this you have to calculate 18% allowance. So 18% allowance would be 3,985. So in the second year the allowance would be 3,985, and after this allowance the remaining amount will be 18,155, right? So this is the total return down value at 31st December 24. Same is the value on 1st January 25, but here before calculating the return on allowance we have to subtract the disposal proceed, which is given as 1750. So after this you have remaining value as 16,405, and on this 16,405 you have to calculate 18% of return on allowance, and this will be 2,953. This is your allowance. And this will be the remaining value. In case you are not considering the short life asset, the total allowance in 3 years will be 10 lakh 4,860, 3,985 and 2,953. This is total 10,11,798. So in this first instance, if we are not considering this short life asset, this is the total allowance available to us. So when we are considering the short life asset, the opening balance would be recorded as same. On 1st January 23, this is 15,000. Then during this year, we have purchased an asset with a value of 10,000 and remaining asset which have a value of 10,02,000. Now you have to consider that 10 lakh would be provided as capital allowance, annual investment allowance, which will be recorded in the capital allowance column, and remaining 2,000 will be recorded here in the main pool. Now the total is here 17,000 and 10,000. Return on allowance will be calculated 17,000 at the rate of 18%. So this will be 1360. And on 10,000 also 18% of allowance will be provided. So remaining value would be recorded as 13,940 and 8,200. And the total of allowance will remain the same, means 10 lakh 4,860. In the next year, on 1st January 24, opening balance is 13,940 and 8,200. Again, we have to provide the capital allowance at the rate of 18% on both assets separately. So this will be 2,509. And this will be 1,476. So the total will be again 3,985, right? But the remaining balance here to be recorded is 13,940 minus 2,509 will give you 11,431. And 82 minus 15, 6,724. So in the second year, the balance remains, the capital allowance balance remains the same. But in the third year, the opening value on 1st January 25 is 11,431 and 6,724 for the short life asset. Now short life asset has been disposed of for 1,750. Remaining value would be considered as 4,974. This 4,974 is completely provided as capital allowance. So this is the benefit of selection of short life asset, that if short life asset has been sold within 8 period of time, then the remaining balance, the whole balancing allowance will be provided as capital allowance. While in case of 11,431, the capital allowance would be 2,058. And after that, $9,373 is the closing balance. So the total of capital allowance in this case would be 4,974 plus 2,058 plus 3,985 plus 10 lakh. $4,860. So here the 10 lakh 15,877 is the total allowance. So as a result of selecting that short life asset, the allowance increases. So again, the main point is, if you have selected any asset as your short life asset, when this asset has been disposed of within 8 years, the remaining balance, the balancing allowance, will be provided as your capital allowance. Now with respect to VAT, irrecoverable VAT, capital allowances are claimed on VAT inclusive price. Remember that capital allowances are claimed on VAT inclusive price. VAT is irrecoverable on cars that are not used 100% for business purpose. VAT is not recoverable on those cars which have not been used 100% for business purpose. Recoverable VAT, capital allowances are claimed on net price. So we need to consider, if an asset, if car is not 100% used for business purpose, the VAT is said to be irrecoverable and capital allowance is claimed on VAT inclusive price. And if the VAT is recoverable, capital allowances are claimed on net price. So this is the question. Kiran has a business manufacturing computer. She is registered for VAT in the year ended 31st March 23. She bought machinery costing 27,000 and a car for herself costing 12,780. She will use the car 60% for business. So she also sold an old piece of machinery for 1200. All these figures include VAT at 20%. Because machinery is not used for private purpose, or it is not a car that is used for private purpose. So we need to consider the VAT exclusive price. And while in case of a car which is used for private purpose, so we need to calculate the VAT on inclusive price, capital allowance on the inclusive price. Also for the disposal proceed, as it is a machine, and on this we have to consider VAT exclusive price. Now the structure building allowance, where a business incur expenditure on qualifying cost for a new residential, non-residential structure building or renovation or extension to existing building on or after 29th October 18, they will be eligible for structure building allowance. But remember that in the examination, the question will only be set where the building was constructed or renovated after 6th April 20. The expenditure that qualify for SBA are building including office, retail and wholesale premises, factories and warehouses, and the cost of subsequent improvement, and structure building including road, wall, bridge and tunnel. Qualifying cost does not include land, legal fee, repair and maintenance. And if unused building is purchased from a builder or developer, the qualifying cost is price paid less value of land. Now an example, during the year ended 31st March 23, Alejandro incurred the following expenditure on a new factory constructed to use in the business. Land 2,20,000, leveling of land 9,000, factory building 3,50,000 and planning permission 2,000. The factory was brought into use on 1st September 2022. The first requirement is to calculate Alejandro's structure building allowance for the year ended 31st March 2023. So we need to consider which expenses qualify for structure building allowance. So this is factory building and leveling of land. Leveling of land means land is prepared for construction, so that is why it will be included. In the second requirement, they are saying that explain the SBA implication for Alejandro and the buyer if the building is sold for 7,50,000 on 1st December 31 and the buyer has a year ended on 30th November. So in case of Alejandro, if we will consider from his point of view, we need to consider his year start on 1st April and ends on 31st March. As he was selling the particular land on the building on 1st December 31, so in the year 31, he has to calculate the structure building allowance for April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November for the 8 months period. Also, this is the point, as he has purchased the building on 1st September 22, the structure building allowance for 23 is also calculated for September, October, November, December, January, February, March, 7 months. So this 3,59,000 amount that qualify, the allowance to be calculated will be on 7 months period. So this is so. and while on disposal on 1st December, the Alejandro will consider the structure building allowance in accordance with his accounting period, which starts on 1st April and ends on 31st March. So as he was selling that particular asset, selling that asset on 1st December. So in this current year, he has used that asset for 8 months. So he will calculate the structure building allowance for 8 months. But as regard to buyer, the buyer year is ended on 30th November. It means the buyer has purchased that asset on the first date of his accounting year. So he has to charge the structure building allowance for the whole year from 1st December 31 to 30th November 32. So his structure building allowance for the whole year for 30th November 32. Now you have to do stress understanding 9 in this regard and comprehensive example 12.